welcome back to the channel. It has been a while, of course, obviously it's been 3 weeks now, and yeah, obviously time's flown, but I didn't feel like it was 3 weeks ago since I did an upload, but it is one of those things. I know I did say that I was going to be doing an upload after the pre-season tour, but I did decide against that. I decided to obviously see what else happened in the other games that we've been playing, and also see what happens in the transfer market too. Because it's just what I decided. But yeah, obviously we're back now, and obviously the content will be really coming along nicely now in the next as the season starts. We're only a week away. The season starts. I mean, it's crazy how quickly it's come around, really, isn't it? But time is going very quickly. But I hope you're all doing well, by the way. And thank you for joining me tonight. And it will be a very, very good stream, I hope. Plenty to discuss. We've got lots to catch up on, of course. And I will give you the running order of the topics that I have on the agenda this evening. But first, let's go for the comments whilst we're here. Orest is in. Big up, Ryan. Make sure you smash the likes and subscribe if you are new. Season starts soon, and yet the club haven't signed a striker. A bit concerning, but I'm sure you will talk about that soon. Yeah, obviously we will cover that a bit later on. But big up to you. Thank you for coming in, as always. Always here, always showing the support. I really appreciate that. And big up to you as well. George is in. Big up, Ryan. It's good to have you back after 2 or so weeks. Yeah, it's been 3 weeks today. Yeah, so it's been a long time. Doesn't feel like it though. Can't wait for the start of the season next weekend against Plymouth. Up the town, new warm-ups back. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be a tricky start to the season, but obviously we'll just have to see what happens, really. And Oren says, good to have you back, Ryan, as well. Yeah, thank you very much. It's good to be back in football. But yeah, as I was saying, let's go for the running order. Like I say, we will cover the pre-season games that we've played so far. And we will then look ahead to tomorrow's game. Of course, we're in action for the final time pre-season tomorrow against Herenveen. Obviously, it's our only home pre-season game. So it'd be good to be back at the stadium. Seeing the lads in action for the first time, obviously, since the break, because I didn't actually manage to get to Stockport last week, so obviously it's my first time seeing the lads back in action since then. We're going to talk about pre-season again, like I said. Then we're going to go on to the new kit. Of course, the third kit was launched a few days ago now, wasn't it? And obviously I'll share my thoughts on it. Might give it a rating as well. That's all. We'll do cover that after that, and then we will then go on to transfers. Obviously, as we always do. There's been a lot of outgoings, as we know. Slowly but surely, some incomings coming in. Slowly but surely, but so we'll cover those that we've managed to bring in. Also, some potential players that I've seen that have become available, maybe, and maybe some players that I'd like to see come in. Should I say? Sorry. So, and then obviously at the end, I know there's sometimes questions throughout the line, but obviously any further additional questions can be answered at the end. But yeah, we're gonna get into the show now after the long intro. So obviously we'll go right back to the first game. Obviously our pre-season tour of Cornwall and Devon. It did start, of course, with a game against Bodmin Town. Obviously the score finished 9-0. Obviously, as you can imagine, in the first game, obviously two separate teams in the two different teams from the first half to the second half. Obviously Josh Corona getting on the score sheet as well with a couple of goals. Simpson as well getting a goal. Ruffles, Harrott as well getting a few goals there. obviously Hudlin got a goal and Pat Jones got 2 as well. So yeah, obviously a good win. Like I say, these games though, to be fair, like I say down there, I mean, I don't want to be too disrespectful, but obviously these teams aren't really testing. They're not, obviously the part-time. They're very, the league they're playing is very, very low down. So let's just say I'm not getting too carried. Obviously it was 9-0. It could have been more. Let's just say that. And yeah, so obviously that was the first game that we managed to play. It's very hard to comment on the game because obviously they're not really, like I say, yeah, I don't know how to word it, but it's not really a test, is it, as such, from my opinion. Obviously next up we also played Tavistock Town. Obviously this ended in a 0-0 draw. I mean, this was the one where I felt a bit disappointed, well, quite a lot disappointed to be fair, because look, I know there were a lot of credit for their goalkeeper, how he's managing to save a lot of chances we had, but it's only pre-season, but again, drawing 0-0, it seems to be a bit of a, yeah, I don't know, a bit annoying, but yeah, obviously, again, a lot of changes in each half, and yeah, obviously, there's not really much to say about that game. So it was 0-0, like I said. 19 players got more match fitness, obviously. For me, fitness, we haven't really been tested at all in them games with fitness because we were dominating the ball anyway, so it's like a training session, really. But, we should have won this game as well. Like I say, we had several chances. Like I say, the goalkeeper, obviously our goalkeepers, obviously Lee Nichols and then Bill Kapic, were not called upon at all in this game. Obviously Edmonds Green was playing in midfield role as well. He went close to a goal. Josh Crome had a few chance, and then Kasumu as well. Obviously Koroma again, the biggest attacking threat from the left, obviously their keeper. Again, saving. Simpson as well should have scored, obviously 3 minutes into the half. Volleyed Sorba Thomas. Excellent delivery in. Obviously forced the keeper into a save. And then obviously Jack Redoni had a glorious chance. Obviously this was probably their goalkeeper's best save of the night. Obviously he got down very well to his left. And yeah, obviously saved the chance. Like I say, Pat Jones, obviously nice to see Pat Jones, by the way. Obviously after a few, he had an injury. We saw a glimpse of him, but then he got injured and then we didn't really see to him after that. But it's good to see him back, obviously this time. So yeah, like I say, 0-0 in that one. And then obviously our next game was, of course, against Liskeard Athletic. This was an even more convincing win, of course. And we managed to score, but again, we're scoring goals, yes. And I think that goals are always a good thing, no matter who you're playing, because it just gives you that practice, of finishing chances. But again, I'm finding myself struggling to comment on these games and getting too carried away because of the level of opposition, really. Obviously it was 13-1 in this game against Liskeard. Went off there, but yeah. Honestly, these pre-season games are good for the players to up their fitness for the season. I think this Saturday was the biggest test in the pre-season. It shows where this team actually is. Yeah, I do agree. It will be a very tough test tomorrow. And that's what you want, though, isn't it, in pre-season? Playing teams that will give you a test. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens there. Obviously, we'll be doing a little preview, going to give you a little bit of a insight into Heavenveen if anybody doesn't know much about them. I've done my research, and yeah, obviously I will cover that shortly. But yeah, like I said, this game against Liscard, obviously Headley came in for this one. Danny Ward came back in, obviously a 3-5-2 as well. Josh Ruffles playing as a left-sided centre half, and Josh Kurova pushing up front in this one too. Liscard obviously deserves some credit, you know, some good saves throughout. Obviously, he still couldn't prevent Town from obviously notching those 4 goals that we got in the first half. You know, like I say, goals. Like I say, Danny Ward got a goal in the first half. Josh Crone with a double. Jack Redoni with a double. Headley. Kean Harrop with a hat-trick. Sorba Thomas with 2. Simpson with 1, and Jackson with 1 as well. So again, obviously, winning 2 out of the 3 games down there. Like I say, it's all about getting your fitness levels up. And I know I did say that maybe fitness in these games, when you're dominating the ball all the time, how much fitness are you actually getting out of these games? But I don't really think you're getting too much. But you're still getting fitness because you're playing minutes. So, you know, he is on that. No matter how little or big you're getting, you know, it's kind of, yeah, you're getting some kind of fitness in. Oh, that's what I'm trying to say. Hashim, smash the likes for Ryan, lads. Thank you, Hashim, for that. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. But we're going to move on to the Stockport. Obviously, so yeah, that concluded our tour down in Cornwall and Devon. Obviously, it was good for the lads to get away as well. New surroundings. It's a beautiful part of the world down there. Like I said, Neil Warnock always takes his teams down there. It's a tradition for him, so we kind of expected it when he did come back to the club. So that's what he liked to do. So that's what we did. So it is one of those. But yeah, obviously last week, obviously last Saturday it was, wasn't it? We played Stockport. Obviously it was a bit of a jump up from what we, you know, a bit more of a test against Stockport, of course. And you know, we played very well in this game. The Danny Ward, Karoma, Redoni, and Hudlin all scored. Again, more players getting 21 players got important minutes in their leg as well. Obviously, like I say, it didn't take as long to take the lead. Obviously, in the 4th minute with Danny Ward, it was a good strike actually. I seem to remember too from Danny Ward. For, you know, really from distance, it was a good goal. It was kind of an identical goal to the one he scored against Sheffield United. You know, that goal that kept us up. Yeah, it was. It was very similar to that one. Obviously, Karoma netted the second just after the half-hour mark. He did actually miss a chance early, just moments earlier, that he missed a one-on-one with the keeper, shooting wide, obviously, but made no mistake with his second chance. Obviously entered the box after Redoni, won a 50-50. Great to see Redoni getting stuck in as he always does. Obviously beat the goalkeeper very comprehensively to his right. And obviously our 3rd goal came just after the hour. Obviously Kusumu was fouled in the build-up, but the referee did play advantage. Kuroma obviously with a pass sent to Redoni, cleared into space, and obviously Redoni entered the box, and he of course hit the back of the net. Again, obviously substitutes came on. Obviously Nakayama, first minutes in the senior team, following his long-term injury that he got last season, of course. Good to see him back in the first team. Again, our youngsters really impressed. And obviously Kyle Hudlin, I think this was the goal of the game, you know, for Hudlin in this game. I think it was really good. Obviously, like I say, this is where the tempo was upped. Obviously, the starting lineup played 60 minutes, all of them did, and then obviously there was lots of changes for the final half hour. Obviously goals, obviously, like I say, Danny Warren, like I said, Koroma, Radoni and Hudlin as well. So that's kind of the pre-season so far. So we've got one remaining game, as I said. And yeah, we're going to be, it's going to be a good game tonight. So we're going to get into the little preview now for tomorrow's game against Heerenveen. I'm going to be giving you an insight into our opponents that will be visiting us tomorrow. So here we are. So obviously Heerenveen are located in the far north of the Netherlands. Obviously they play in the Eredivisie. Obviously this is the highest league in the Dutch league. And it is ranked the 6th best league in Europe by UEFA, apparently. So that's not, I don't know if that's any relevance, but they are obviously. Obviously, their manager, and the head coach, as they call him, Kees van Wunderen. I hope I've said that right. I do apologise, but very hard to say these names. He played over 200 games for fellow Eredivisie club, Feyenoord. Again, probably said that wrong, but yeah, obviously last season they finished 8th in their league out of 18, and have previously finished as runners-up 3 times, most recently in the 2000s. In 2009, obviously Heerenveen won the Dutch equivalent to the FA Cup, known as the KNVB Cup, and just a player that I've kind of seen play for them as well as 19-year-old Charlie Webster from Chelsea is the only player to join Heerenveen this transfer window, so they've been very quiet as well, but that was on a loan deal. So they've signed, that's the only player they've signed, and obviously he's a central midfielder, played for the under-19 team at Chelsea, and has played for the Premier League side, obviously in the EFL trophy games too. So that's a bit of information, a bit of research I've done about our opponents tomorrow. Aiden's in. I just want to say hello to Aiden. No reason, you don't need to be sorry for being late. Thank you for joining us. We've just kind of covered the pre-season games that we've played. We've just finished previewing the game tomorrow, which I know you're looking forward to. Yeah, it'll be a good game. But yeah, welcome on in. And yeah, I'm okay. I hope you're okay too. But yeah, so it's going to be a tough test tomorrow, as we know. It's going to be a big step up from what we faced. But like I said earlier, that's what you want in these games. You want to be tested. I think it's nice to get results, but it's all about the fitness levels. Obviously, it'd be nice to get a win actually in this one, if we can. Going into the season with a win. I don't know how much difference it makes, in all truth, because, like I say, it is only pre-season. It doesn't really matter, does it? But I just mean the feel-good factor, maybe if we go in the back of a win. I don't know. I don't know if it'll make a difference. But, yeah. So, obviously, I think it's going to be a busy one tomorrow. Obviously, there'll be a lot of fans going to the game tomorrow, I'm sure. So the stadium, there's only the 2 stands open tomorrow. Obviously, it's not the full stadium open, which is usually the case for pre-season anyway. Obviously, with pre-season games tend to be more quieter, don't they? And obviously, welcome some of our visitors from Heerenveen. I'm sure maybe they'll have a few fans tomorrow too coming over. I don't think it's that far to come, really. flight-wise. I think I don't know if the flight's less. I think it's about an hour, maybe it's less. I can't remember, but it's not far. But obviously quite costly as well to come over as well. So, but yeah, I'm sure there will be a few Heronveen fans, which of course will welcome in to our stadium. Hopefully they enjoy their experience at the John Smiths too. But I'm looking forward to. I'm really excited. Obviously, like I said, it's the first game since the break. I haven't seen any of the pre-season games, so it'd be good to see obviously the likes of Sorba Thomas back, see how he does. Josh Caron, obviously, see how he's going to get on in this game. Obviously, my favourite centre half, of course, Mikael Hellick, the brick wall as I call him. What a legend! I love him. But and Radoni, of course, I'm looking forward to seeing Radoni back. Of course, you know, one of my. I'm surprised I didn't say him first actually, but yeah, obviously saving the best to last. But you know, let me just have a look here. Let me go through the comments. For once, we can enjoy watching town without worrying about anything. I mean, that's the thing about pre-season. It's of course I hate losing. I hate losing, regardless of whether it's friendly or not. I don't really believe in friendly. I think every game should be treated as serious. But there's nothing at stake. So in that regard, yeah, there's nothing to worry about. We don't need to. You can just relax. We can just relax. I agree. Big up, bro. Hope you being well. Haven't seen you live or in the chat in a minute. Could just be me, really. Big up, Twinsman. Hope you're well. I'm all right. Obviously, I've had a few weeks off, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. I obviously sometimes come into your lives, but maybe they just haven't. I've kind of been busy, so I haven't had much time. But yeah, we haven't been in your chat for a while. But yeah, big up to you for coming in. Anyway, obviously, if I can get onto your streams at some point too. But yeah, so yeah, Heronveen, we'll see what happens there. And it's set to be a very good game, like I said. Be interesting to see in this final game the lineups as well, obviously, you know, and plus how many minutes. I think this is where you need to get the minutes in the legs now. So some players will play 90 minutes. Some players may play maybe an hour, 70 minutes. Just depends where they're at, really. But we will probably see the first minutes of you know, obviously some 90-minute players that will play the full game. So in terms of Heronveen, like I said, they haven't done much business in the window, and I haven't really done much research about who plays for them either, to be honest with you. But like I say, it'll be an interesting one. It'll be a busy one as well. Like I say, I think it'll be quite busy tomorrow. And yeah, hopefully, we're always talking about the weather out in this country. Hopefully the weather stays fine. I don't want to be getting wet whilst I'm watching the game. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, so that's it really. Pre-season's gone well, hasn't it, really? It's gone well. Hopefully we can finish with a win tomorrow. But like I say, it's all about getting the minutes in, isn't it? So yeah, so that is the conclusion of that part of the show. So we're going to talk about transfers as we always do at this point, and obviously this is probably going to be a long part of the show because there is a lot to get through, of course, as I said earlier. Obviously a lot of outgoings, as well as a few incomings slowly but surely coming in over the last week or so. So yeah, obviously Dwayne Holmes, I did actually speak about this, but obviously we're going to start with the outgoings first. Obviously Dwayne Holmes, obviously it was officially announced that he had joined Preston, permanent transfer, of course. Like I said, Dwayne, 28, isn't he? Obviously a midfielder, as we know, a second spell at the club with us. Obviously he joined the academy at under 9 level as well. And you know, like I say, he's progressed through the age groups. Obviously made his professional debut in 2013. And obviously, yeah, I think with Dwayne, the consistency, his injuries were a big issue, really, weren't they? We saw glimpses of what he could do, but I always felt like with Dwayne that could have been doing more at times. But yeah, like I see injuries, like I see had a lot of injuries. But yeah, he's one of our academy players, of course. Like I say, his contract was due to expire at the club in 2024, but we did have a further year extension. Obviously, he leaves having scored 11 goals in 119 competitive games for us. Like I said, the fee that we got for him was undisclosed, which is usually the case with us. And yeah, like I said, wish him all the best, of course. I don't want to be too harsh, but I'm not too bothered that he's left. He was more out of the squad, as in not available, than he was in it when he was available. You know what I mean? So he was more not available than when he was available. So yeah, obviously it made sense, this move, for us to get to sell him. And yeah, like I said, wish him all the best. So the next player, of course, that departs the club is Will Boyle, who, of course, has joined League Two side Wrexham in a permanent transfer. Like I say, he joined in the summer of 2022 here from Cheltenham. Obviously, he's the one that's come through the town academy graduate system, and a very much guy that did a lot in the community as well. Obviously, the Terriers Together ambassador, and like I say, he's given his time for a lot of community projects whilst he's been here as well. But yeah, for me, I said it before, Will Boyle was a signing that was absolutely crazy. It was madness. But the fact that we brought him back, because he was clearly not going to be able to cope with the Championship. He doesn't have much pace about him. He's just not at this level, I'm afraid. And that's the nicest possible way I can put it, really. I'm sure he'll do very well at Wrexham. And as always, I do wish him the best. But again, I think it makes sense, this move. I'm actually surprised that we were able to offload him, really. To be honest with you, I was surprised, but it was good that we were able to do that. And it really does make sense, this transfer. So that's my thoughts on Will Boyle. Next up, yeah, I've got a lot of outgoings. I did say we had. French midfielder, obviously Etienne Camara, completed his move to Udinese, obviously for an undisclosed fee again. So he joined town, obviously, a couple of years ago when he was 17. And yeah, like I say, he's progressed through the under-17s, under-19s and B-team groups within our academy system, before obviously breaking into the first team on a more regular basis during the 2022-23 season. Obviously, a player that's able to play both central midfield and central defence. He's represented his country under 20 level at the World Cup this summer on the back of 22 appearances in all competitions for town last season. Like I say, he did have a year left in his contract remaining, and there was lots of talk that he wasn't prepared to sign a new deal. It seemed like his head had been turned, he didn't want to be here. So in that regard, I think it's, again, we need players that do want to be at the club. He clearly didn't want to be here. His attitude was not great. So we've managed to sell him on. It was rumoured that he was sold for around £2 million. Now I think that fee is really low, really, for a player of his quality. Maybe, I don't know if anybody else thinks that, but I do think that, because I think he's worth more than that. I know he hasn't done much in the first team, but the potential he has, I think, really, But anyway, the fee does remain undisclosed. So again, as always, I do wish him the best, but it is sad the way he ended his career at Town, really. Especially, kind of. I never like to see players that kind of don't want to. I don't really like to see players that don't want to be at the club, and have kind of had bad attitude about it as well. So it is what it is. He's still young, obviously, but yeah, I wish him all the best at Udinese. Now, the next player that went out, and this is the one that most surprised me, and you probably know who I'm going to talk about here. Of course, Nicholas Villa-Kapic has joined Peterborough on a permanent transfer. This really surprised me. It really shocked me, this, really, if I'm honest with you, because I thought, if you look at what he did last season, Villa-Kapic, when he was called upon, he was thrown in the deep end when obviously Lee Nichols got injured, and the way he was able to perform, having not played much senior football, was really impressive to me. I think he was a player that was really for the future, and I think he had a lot of potential as well. And I was one to say that I did believe that he may. I think I said this in our stream, in my previous streams actually. I think he should be going out on loan. That was my kind of thinking behind what we should do with Villa-Kapic. I think he needed a loan. He needed some minutes in senior football, obviously regular minutes, which we couldn't offer him here at the moment. But to get rid of him seems a very strange decision to me. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but like I say, he did join the club a few years ago, obviously aged just 18. They progressed through the academy here as well, finding his feet in the B team on a regular basis before becoming a regular in the first team bench. And then obviously he made his first appearance in the FA Cup in January. But obviously Lee Nichols got injured, didn't he? So it's one of obviously, he made his debut there. And obviously contributed to that 2-1 home win over Birmingham in mid-February. He was very good in that game. Like I say, I think it was interesting what Neil Warnock had to say about it as well. Obviously, he said, having now experienced first-team football, it's understandable that Nick wants to push himself to game minutes at that level more regular, and Peterborough have really pushed for him. I mean, yeah, I agree with that, but I still feel maybe a permanent deal wasn't the best for us. We should have been loaning him, like I said, and he would still have been able to have regular minutes. He then went on to stay in the fortunate position to have two highly experienced goalkeepers now. It's unlikely that Nick would have gained the experience with us that he's looking for at his stage in his career. The deal agreed also protects the club should he go on to do well in the future, which we obviously hope he does. Nick is a good kid with real ability, and there's plenty still to learn. I've enjoyed working with him since returning to the club, and wish him well in his future career and going forward with Peterborough. So obviously Peterborough are in League One, like I said. Yeah, I'm gutted that he was not able to kind of stay with us, as I said. I think it's a stranger, but like I said, I wish him the best. Of course I do. And yeah, I'm sure he'll do very well at Peterborough. And this is his chance to really get regular minutes now, which is what it's all about, especially at his age. Obviously now 20, I think he's 20, isn't he? 21. 20, yeah, I think he's 20, I think he's 21 this year, unless he's turned 21 already. But yeah, he's still very young, still got a lot to learn. So I'll certainly be keeping track of him and of how he gets on. But yeah, for me, that was probably the most strange one out of the ones that I was most bothered about and going out, the outgoings that we've had, because I just didn't really understand it. But then again, Neil Warnock thought that he was best to do that. So I don't know, but I'm just kind of saying what I think, really. Obviously, get the likes of people. Yeah, thank you, Iris. Thank you. And then, of course, this is our final outgoing. Yeah, we've got to the end of the outgoings finally. But yeah, obviously Tyree Simpson has joined Northampton on loan for the full season. Yeah, obviously Simpson arrived last summer from Ipswich. So this will be the second loan of Simpson's career, following obviously a successful loan period with Swindon the season before that. Like I say, he's played with both the first team and B team at Town. Obviously, after returning from injury, obviously it did take him a while to get back from injury. He's 21 years of age. Obviously, he made 10 competitive appearances for the club in total across all competitions, with 9 of those coming from the bench. So we rarely saw him last season, didn't we? And so yeah, he will obviously spend his time on loan at Northampton, who, again, another team in League One. My thoughts on this one, yeah, I understand it. I'm all for it. You know, like I say, the lad needs minutes. I spoke about this at the end of last season, when he was obviously playing. We were playing some minutes in the team after he got back from being injured. I said that he needed to get his fitness up and get some minutes. He couldn't play more than 15 minutes for us, really. Obviously, he's been able to have a full pre-season. So I think that he's ready to go out and get some senior football elsewhere. And this deal makes sense to me. I think I do agree with it. So again, I do wish him the best, and hopefully we see him really playing well and scoring plenty of goals for Northampton. But yeah, I do like that. I do think that deal with Simpson makes complete sense. But yeah, Aiden says, I'm a bit surprised some outgoings, for example, Bill Akapic, but he has a chance of getting more first in football. I mean, the thing is, Aiden, I know what you're saying. He, like I said earlier, I think that Bill Akapic should have gone out this season. He should have gone on loan this season to get minutes. Like I say, the fact that he's moved permanently is what's kind of I don't really understand. I don't think he should have been sold, but so he could have had more first team football with a loan, which I think the club should have done. But again, I'm just kind of saying my thoughts. I think he was a keeper that had a lot of potential. I think I kind of felt like he could potentially be our number one in the future. Obviously, Lee Nichols obviously our number one, but I mean in the next few years potentially, depending on what happens with Lee Nichols. Obviously, Lee Nichols is in his, I think I don't know how old he is, but he's getting on the back end of his career now. Maybe I'm doing himself some misservice there. I'm not sure how old Lee Nichols is. Maybe somebody can tell me, but like I say, I do believe that Bill Akapic would have the potential to become our number one in the future, whenever that may be. But it is a big surprise, and I definitely agree. Obviously, Ryan, do you feel like this Saturday's friendly game is a massive test for you guys? Also, do you reckon someone is going to get the number 9 shirt? Thank you for the questions. So first question, I think it is going to be, like I said, I think it is going to be a massive test. It's going to be our biggest test, of course. Admittedly, I don't know much about the team we're playing, but obviously I've done my research. Obviously, I know a bit about them, and obviously they had a top 8 finish last season in their league. in the top tier of the Dutch league. So that's, I know it might not sound good to some people, but it is fairly decent, to be fair. I don't really know, but like I said, I don't really know much about them, but I do believe it will be the biggest test for us, and it'll be good to see how we get on with how we get on against them. And you've asked me a question about also, do you reckon someone is going to get number 9 shirt? Well, I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm hoping. I think we're all hoping, because I've said it on many streams, and people know my fault. And most people know that we need a striker in. So we're hoping for it. But again, the fact is, we have to be realistic here. The circumstances that we're faced with at the moment, with the FFP rulings, and obviously the new owner coming in and having no money to spend initially, it was always going to be difficult to get players in that we really wanted at this stage. So as much as we're saying we need a number 9, I don't necessarily know what that number 9 will look like. And what I mean by that is, it's probably either going to be a loan, most likely a loan, or someone in the free transfer market, the free transfer list. The fact that we haven't got anybody in though yet in the free transfer list, the ones that are free on the free, strikes me that Warnock doesn't think that anybody on the free market at the moment is good enough to be able to come in and do a job for us. So it looks like it's going to be a loan. But again, there's no guarantee with loans. Loans are great. We've seen over the years how we've been able to utilise the loan market very well, haven't we? We've done well with the loan market. We all know the names that we can think, obviously, but it's not a guarantee, is it? It's not a guarantee that we're going to get somebody in. And with a week to go until the season begins, we're still without an out-and-out goal scorer. Now, I do believe in a team that you do have to share the goals around, and that when we know, and we certainly saw towards the back end of last season, that there is players chipping in with goals around, in the midfield, from the midfield, obviously, from the wings as well. These players all. What I'm saying is, I think everybody needs to chip in with goals ultimately, but we still need a striker that doesn't struggle to get to 10 goals, which is what we've got at the moment. Danny Ward is great, and I love him, I do, but it seems to me that he'll just struggle to get to 10 goals again, 10 goals plus. But yeah, so I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. Let's see what happens. But there's no guarantees because of the circumstances that we face at the moment. And I think that's the most frustrating part about it, isn't it, really? Because we want to try and have the best season we can, but we're hampered by the fact that we can't spend anything at all. And yeah, it's not ideal, is it? It's not ideal, really. But it is what it is. Now we've had time to kind of reflect and know that that's the case. I think we just have to deal with it. We have to deal with it, even though it's annoying and frustrating at the same time. We have to deal with that. But yeah, fingers crossed. We need a number 9 in, and that is categorically high priority next. 30 years old. Oh, he's only 30, right? So he may have a good few years. But again, I know obviously Lee Nichols has been linked away at times as well. So yeah, but anyway, Bilakapic has gone. So that kind of thing about him potentially being number 1. He could potentially come back at some point, but I don't know if he will. And Horace says, Ryan, I can tell that he was very disappointed that Town saw the young keeper. He had a lot of talent, but it was a weird, unexpected decision. I mean, I mean, obviously I expressed my disappointment in my reasoning behind it really earlier, and yeah, I am a bit disappointed actually. And yeah, he did have a lot of talent, and you put it perfectly. It was a weird and very unexpected decision, but yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? We have to move on. Unfortunately, that's the way football works, isn't it? You have to move on. Football doesn't stop when players leave. We have to keep going and focusing on who we have got and see what happens. But yeah, thank you for all your comments so far, everyone. By the way, I really appreciate it. Like I said, keep them coming as I go along, and obviously any more questions, feel free to post them. We'll obviously put them up on screen there. So now we're going to get into the incomings. Yes, we finally signed some players, which obviously, been a long time coming. We have to be patient, but we're slowly starting to get some players in now, and I think that hopefully in the next few days we'll be able to get another signing. Fingers crossed, a striker. But again, these deals with loans tend to be very late in the day, don't they? So I don't know what stage we're at with that, but you've got to hope that something potentially is in the pipeline for next week to get a striker in, but we'll just have to see. But yeah, obviously we signed Chris Maxwell, who has signed as a free agent. Like I say, he was at Blackpool previously. Obviously, he made 31 starts for them across league and cup last season. Again, a keeper with plenty of experience. Obviously playing over 400 games, senior games under his belt. 125 of those have come in the Championship with Blackpool and Preston. Obviously, he's 32. He's also played a century of games in League One, winning the Golden Glove Award and being named in the Divisional Team of the Year as recently as 2021. Obviously, he does join to compete with for the number one spot. But again, I think I see this signing as a signing just to have a reliable backup there if we need him. Lee Nichols obviously is number one. But yeah, again, we can't expect to be sacked. We haven't got the funds at the moment, or we're not able to spend. Sorry, should I say at the moment? No, we have got the funds, but we're not able to spend at the moment. So we're having to get players in that are going to do a job for us. But we, obviously we want to be next summer, hopefully bringing in some better quality, if you could say so. But we still want quality for now. But you know what I'm trying to say. We have to cope with what we've got in terms of going for these type of players because we aren't able to do anything else. But again, Neil Warnock obviously commented on this as he always does. He said, "I've always looked at goalkeepers and asked, can they win you points? I've always liked Chris," he says, as he's always made crucial saves when we played against him. I think he's a good character, and I like the way that he conducts himself. He's a good trainer too, and they're the attributes that I think you need. We've got a great keeper in Lee as well, and Chris's arrival strengthens that department. Obviously, he will take the number 12 shirt for us this season as well. That was nothing I would say. I think he will be a good character to have around, full of experience, help the younger lads as well. I think it makes sense to have somebody like this come in. Obviously welcome him to the club, and hopefully we may, I don't know how Neil Warnock will do it, but I think maybe we'll see maybe in a cup game or something. Hopefully, not in the league game. Hopefully, Lee Nichols can stay fit for the full season now. Obviously, that injury he had. I don't think he's been injured much over his career, Lee Nichols, to be fair. So I think that was just one of those things last season. So I can see him being able to keep fit this season. Fingers crossed, of course. But yeah, welcome into the club, Chris Maxwell, of course, who joins us. So the next player, well, the signing that we made that was announced yesterday. Obviously, Tom Edwards joins us on loan from Stoke. Obviously, he's 24 years of age. He's a right back and right wing back, but he's also shown that versatility to feature at centre back. But I can't really see him being in centre back because we've already got quite a few options there. It depends what formation we play as well, to be fair. But yeah, obviously he arrives at the club with over 130 senior appearances under his belt. It's largely in the Championship with Stoke. And also he's played in America as well at the New York Red Bulls. Obviously he's joined the first team squad for training on Thursday, so he joined up yesterday with the first session ahead of our final game, final pre-season game against Heronville on tomorrow. Obviously, he will wear the number 16 shirt during his time as a Terrier, so let's see what happens with him. I think there are a lot of people, I mean, for me, does this sign excite me? It probably doesn't, no. Probably doesn't. But again, because we're so limited to who we can bring in, unless it's maybe a Premier League loan, maybe it'll certainly excite a few of us if we can get somebody from the Premier League to come in. But this signing, I don't really think it excites me. Well, it doesn't really. We know that I think that area that we need, obviously the right back area, I think we have been weak on that side, if I'm honest. So I do think he is good in that regard. I've seen very much mixed reviews about him, though, really, if I'm honest. Obviously, he was on loan at Barnsley last season, I believe, and he only managed to play 10. He only managed to make 10 appearances. So yeah, I don't know. The reviews I've seen haven't been great. I've seen that obviously he works hard for the team, and obviously, but at the moment he's very struggling for match fitness. He was off the pace in the last game. I think Stoke had a pre-season game. I think I saw, and obviously one of their fans said that he was looking a bit off the pace, struggling to keep up with play. But obviously with training, hopefully we can get him up to speed. But yeah, it's a sign that we needed from that. We needed a sign from that side right back, but I don't necessarily know. I don't think it excites me as such. Let's just see what happens with him. Let's just see how he gets on. Obviously, Neil Warnock obviously commented. He did say that a right back has been a priority for us this season due to Ollie Turton's injury. Obviously, Ollie Turton's injured, so it's great that we can welcome Tom to the club today. In terms of what we were looking for, he fits the bill. Importantly, he matches the rest of the squad in that he's good, solid character and hard worker. He's also got good experience of the Championship, and he'll hit the ground running with us having been a part of Stoke's first team pre-season. He's shown his ability during his career, but when you speak to him, it's clear how desperate he is to show exactly what he's capable of with us. I'm sure our fans will get right behind him in our colours this season. So yeah, obviously the gaffer obviously spoke there. Like I say, experience, a bit of experience. And yeah, he's a good character to have around. I think it's when you've got players that are good characters, it really will help the dressing room. So that can only bode well. But like I said, we need to just see what happens with him really. I don't really know much about him, if I'm honest. I haven't really seen much of him play before, so I don't really know. I don't know much about him, so well, it's just a case of seeing how he gets on. But obviously, it's another player through the door, and obviously Warnock feels like he can contribute. So let's see what happens as the season begins. Number one target now is getting a striker. I mean, it is. We know this. We know we needed a striker. So we have to be looking at getting a striker in as soon as we can. We've actually got through this a lot quicker than I thought, but I'm going to talk about some potential players maybe that will be good to us now. Before we move on to, I'll be talking about the third kit that we released the other day, and sharing my thoughts. And obviously, you guys in the chat, let me know what you think of the shirt as well. And yeah, and also anyone that wants to recommend any players, who would you like to see come in? Now, a potential player that I have seen is available on a free. People may not like this, but I do think he does fit the Neil Warnock style, and that is Connor Wickham. Obviously, he is a free agent at the moment, so this deal could happen. I think he's a guy that is a real target man up there, and like I say, I think it will suit Warnock's style. I think for him, though, again, his injuries have been an issue for him over his career, which again, it's the problem is with the free market is they are free for a reason, and that's not being disrespectful at all, but it's the truth. You know, they're free because they're either not good enough for the team, or they're free because they've just been hampered with injuries and they're just not able to. They've just not been able to play hardly any minutes. So yeah, that's the problem with the free market, unfortunately. But you can sometimes find some players that will do a good job for you. So Connor Wickham, what are we thinking about him? Let me know, because I do think he will potentially be able to contribute, and he will provide us with that aerial presence up top. Again, he's not the ideal. I'm not saying he's the ideal candidate, by the way, but unfortunately, we are very restricted to who we can bring in. Maybe we want to look at a loan. If we can get a Premier League loan player in that is a striker, then of course I would take a Premier League striker over Connor Wickham. Of course I would, but I'm just saying as an alternative if we aren't able to do that, really. So yeah, I just want to make that clear. But I don't really know who could potentially come in from the Premier League. It will probably be a youngster type player that obviously wants senior minutes I think that any Premier League club that have got a real talented youngster that isn't going to be playing much this season, the Championship is where to come. It really is, because, you know, I've said it before, the Championship is the best league for me. And I'm not just saying it because we're in it, but I just believe it's the best league. It's the most competitive. We've already talked about it in previous streams, how this season is going to be the toughest Championship season that we've seen ever. Well, in recent memory anyway. I can't remember the last time it's going to be a really tough year. We know it's tough anyway, but it's just got even tougher. You know, obviously with the likes of the teams that have come up and obviously the teams that have come down as well. Not mentioning those from up the road, of course, our rivals, but certainly, you know, obviously Southampton, obviously are a good side, and you know maybe we'll be looking to bounce straight back. To the Premier League, but it is one of those. And I've forgotten who the other team that's come down as well. Who's the other team that's come? Leicester. Yeah, Leicester, another team that, of course, will be looking to get straight back up. Obviously, they've lost a lot of players. Obviously, mind you, that's usually the case, isn't it, with any Premier League club that goes down. But the fact is they're able to recruit as well from that money they get. So that's what makes them a big threat this season as well. But so yeah, it's going to be interesting. So yeah, as I said, Premier League teams that have youngsters in their team that aren't quite ready yet for the Premier League, but they're ready for senior minutes. I think every Premier League team that has a player like that will be wanting to send their player to the Championship, as for the reasons I just stated, and especially if they're going to get regular minutes as well. But the toughness of the league, the competitiveness, and it's just such a testing league, isn't it? It's just unbelievable. Now I know that I've kind of said that we do need a midfielder if we can, and we are able to make 5 loans during the season. So we've already made 1. So we've got 4 places that we can fill, up to 4 places, should I say. So we'd be interested to see what happens in the next week or so, see if we can get somebody in. I really do think that we need to be doing that as soon as we can. Another player that I've seen has just departed Watford is Dan Gosling. Now, Dan Gosling, of course, is a midfielder. Obviously, he's 33, so he does come with experience, and he is a bit older. I do get that. But maybe on a short-term deal, maybe a 12-month deal. Like I say, I think he could potentially do a job in our midfield. Obviously, he's got experience. Obviously, he's played for Bournemouth, obviously Norwich as well. He played a crucial part in their promotion to the Premier League as well. And yeah, but like I say, again, this player has really been struggling with injuries. Again, I said it earlier. He's been released for a reason. But he could potentially, if we can keep him fit, but again, it's a big if, isn't it? We do need reliability, I understand that. But I don't think I would mind seeing him come in, but I don't know if he's on. But I just kind of strolling on social media, and I saw that he had been released. So it was kind of a name that potentially worth a conversation maybe about that. But like I say, it's just one of those, isn't it? But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the transfers. We are wearing out the more. Obviously, 2 signings coming, plenty of outgoings. Most of those I understand. Obviously, as we know, a few, obviously a loan as well, a few loans going out. So I get it. I do get it. Apart from the one that we've mentioned, obviously, in Villa Capic. But yeah. So now we finished that part of the show. So we're going to go into the 3rd kit launch, of course, that was announced not so long ago. We're going to put a graphic on screen here of the kit, and I'm going to share my thoughts. Let me know what you think about this kit in the chat, and yeah, we're going to go through it now. So I obviously predominantly black. Obviously, the kit features obviously that multicolored neckline there, splitting down the middle. Like I say, as you can see, the logo, utility giving. So the shorts will be all black, and for me, it is a very, very nice kit. This, and of course, it is modelled beautifully by Headley, the Brick Wall, Mikael Hellick, and Sorba Thomas. Yeah, I really like this shirt, and I said, after I remember posting something on my social media about this, I think this should have been the away kit personally. I think I would have loved to have seen this as the away kit, and then the other one that's now the away kit should have been the 3rd kit. I like the design. I really do like the colours on this. It works well. and yeah, I really do like it. But like I said, the idea behind this kit as well is very good. Obviously, the fighting the cost of living crisis takes centre stage in the launch of this new third kit. Obviously, the partner Utilita, as I just mentioned, has donated the front of shirt to its charitable arm, Utility Giving, to raise awareness of fuel and food poverty across West Yorkshire and beyond. Utility's Giving logo will feature on the front of our striking predominantly black kit for the community, with multicoloured trim design of petunia, flame scarlet and French blue. So that's the colours that are on the shirt. I didn't know that, but yeah, that's the colours that are on the shirt. I've not really heard of those colours, but they're certainly very unique. Obviously, underlying the theme of the kit, Utility Giving will donate £2 to our Huddersfield Towns Foundation for every shirt sold. All monies raised will be ring-fenced to pay for the distribution of the breakfast clubs, 6,000 breakfasts to local school children in need. Now, this kit was launched with the help of students at North Huddersfield Trust School in partnership with the Huddersfield Town Foundation. Pupils also from the school provided the original soundtrack. If you remember the soundtrack that they posted on their socials, that was obviously a project that the pupils at the school did, which I thought was nice, to be honest. And yeah, obviously he's modelled by the three there, and also they were joined by students from North Huddersfield Trust School and players from Huddersfield Town Women as well in the promotional advert. Now, Utility Giving was set up to support people in fuel and food poverty across England, Scotland and Wales, from helping households with fuel support payments to providing community groups with low-cost cooking equipment to supporting the most vulnerable in their area. They work closely with several national and community food bank charities and have strong relationships with both National Energy Action and Energy Action Scotland. So, yeah, for me, I absolutely love this shirt. I think it's a great shirt. I haven't got it yet, but obviously, hopefully I can get it soon. But yeah, I really do like it. And as I said, I think this should have been the away kit personally. But and I think the message behind it as well, it's lovely. You know, we are a community club. We do a lot in the community, and the fact there was a project behind this, you know, getting obviously some of the pupils from Huddersfield North Trust School involved and allowing them to be part of it is really special for those kids. And you know, it'll be something that they really appreciate. And I think the soundtrack as well to the promotional advert for the kit was very good, very very nicely written or wrote. But yeah, so I think it's really lovely. I think it's lovely, and for me, I certainly preferred that one over the away kit we have now. So rating, I can't fault this kit at all. So I probably have to go with 10. I think this kit is just so nice. I just love it really. But yeah, Aiden's loving it there with the emojis. It kind of looks like our new training kit, if you know what I mean. I mean, yeah, it does. Obviously, the training kits have been launched, haven't they? Which I forgot to put on here, but they look quite nice too. But I think we're just going to stick to the kits. Obviously, the kits that the players will wear in the games rather than the training gear. But yeah, that's kind of it for tonight, really. It has been a good stream. Obviously, big up to everyone for coming in. You know who you are. You're always here supporting the channel. Orest, always here. George. Hashim is coming this time, which is nice. Thank you to him. Aiden as well, always here. Ensman making an appearance as well. Big up to him. And yeah, it's been great. Now, obviously, I will be taking not too much of a break, but obviously I'm going on holiday, so I won't be here for the Plymouth game away. So I won't be doing preview to that, but we will be doing a review show for that. We'll be doing a review show for that, and hopefully we'll be looking at, and then we'll just get into the flow of things really, and get consistent with it from then on in. But yeah, I won't be able to do a stream for the game against Plymouth. But anybody that is travelling down, anybody that is going, safe journey to you all. Hopefully bring back the 3 points whilst I'm sunning it up abroad. But yeah, it'll be nice to get away, to be fair, for me. And yeah, obviously have a bit of a break. I don't know, the holiday for quite a while, so it'd be good. But anyway, I'm just waffling on at this point. But yeah, so that, if you're wondering, next week and there's no stream, that's why I won't be here. So we'll be back the following week to provide more content to the channel. But yeah, like I say, thank you everybody for coming in. As I said, another brilliant live stream as always up the town. Yeah, thank you, Aidan. I really appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful week, whatever you do. Enjoy the game tomorrow if you're going. I may see you there, I may not. But yeah, I do see you there. Come and say hello. It'd be good to speak to a few of you. But yeah, it'd be good to go tomorrow, and then obviously the build up to the season opener really begins after tomorrow, doesn't it? So yeah, have a good week. Take care. Like I said, thank you for all the support, and yeah, I'll see you when I get back from my holidays. But yeah, as always, up the town, Neil Warnock's Bar Miami. Come on, you Terriers. Good night, everyone. Take care.